UMAR AHMED, IFL TV, MTK Global. I'm joined by Carl Lewis. Do you want to introduce
Carl Lewis,
yourself?
Carllewis, here on behalf of Don King Productions and Mr. Don King, who sends his regards and his love to the country. He did not want to miss this, but he had other obligations in the United States that he couldn't travel. He's in good spirits, he's in good health, and looking for a phenomenal night of boxing, and you guys have been so hospitable. So Don King Productions thanks you.
Should we get Don on the
Yes.
camera here? There he is. So yeah, you had quite a lot to say. Sam Jones had quite a lot to say.
Yes.
Bermain, in the end, had quite a lot to say. What did you sort of make of that?
Well, I think that it's admirable of Joyce to want to take a fight at 7-0, but it's a mistake. He's 7-0. I'm not a pugilist, but to step in the ring with a former heavyweight champion of the world who's fought all types of competition is, again, admirable for Mr. Joyce, but I think a mistake. Stiverne is motivated more than ever, as you know, after the loss to Deontay Wilder in the first round. He has a lot to say, a lot to prove, and he has nothing but respect for Joe Joyce. But when we get into the ring, or when Mr. Stiverne gets into the ring, he's going to prove to the world that he is going to be reigning the title as heavyweight champion of the world. And with Don King Productions behind him, and winning this fight is going to be great for him. So he believes strongly that Joyce has made a terrible mistake.
Do you think if Bermain hadn't been knocked out by Wilder in one round, Joe and his team would have taken this fight?
They never would have taken that fight. And everyone knows, in boxing, anyone can have an off night. If you have an off night, you go down. Stiverne was the only fighter to take Wilder 12 rounds. When he returned for the rematch, for whatever reason, he said he was not himself that night. And Joyce is looking at this and saying, oh, I think I can take this guy, but I think he's made a terrible mistake, and they would not have called Stiverne. And I believe he's going to be 7-1 come Saturday night.
If you're right and Stiverne is successful on Saturday night, where does he go from there?
That's a question for Don King. And I can't answer that question. I'm only his agent, but that's up for Don King Productions and Stiverne.
Okay. Again, what did you make of sort of the conversation between Joe Joyce's manager, Sam Jones, and Bermain today?
Well, you know, Stiverne is a soft-spoken lad, and for Sam Jones to make those comments and innuendos, again, Stiverne said it best. He's not in the ring. Joyce and I are in the ring, and Joyce didn't say anything. You know, they went 4 rounds or whatever that was. It could have been the end of Stiverne's session. Who knows? Sam is trying to motivate his fighter and move his fighter. I have no problems with that. But at the end of the day, I'm not in the ring. Sam's not in the ring. Stiverne and Joyce are going to be in the ring, and that's who's going to make the determination of whether this was a mistake or a brilliant move on behalf of Joyce.
What did you make of the sort of heavyweight landscape at the moment? Who do you see as a top dog?
Well, I mean, the heavyweight division, I'm from the old school. I've been in this boxing game a long time, and the heavyweight division, as boxing in general, needs a polarizing fighter. You need a name like a Mike Tyson, a Muhammad Ali. You need someone that is going to polarize the people, pull the people together, and right now the heavyweight division is lacking that. I think it has a return. I like Deontay Wilder. I like Tyson Fury. I like Anthony Joshua. I like and love Bermain Stiverne. The fact that we can mention 4 names in the heavyweight division that people are interested in says that it's a resurgence. Before then, what names could you mention? You couldn't mention any, but now we have names that are getting some buzz, getting some feed, and I think that's what's extremely important for boxing in general, because the lighter guys, the 135s, the 147s, they're great to look at, but it's nothing like having a heavyweight championship fight with great ferocity, and I think we're now back to the landscape of boxing being on top of the world.
Who have you worked with previously?
Larry Donald, 92 Olympian. Tim Austin, 92 Olympian. The list goes on. I began in boxing in 1992 with Larry Donald, who was my first client, and then was blessed enough to become legal counsel for Don King Productions, and been doing that more than 15 years now.
How's it working for Don King?
Don is awesome. He's great. He has more energy than man less than half his age. He is 87 and strong as an ox, never stops working, is around the clock on the phone. I'm sure I'm going to get a call from him any minute now to see how the press conference went. Don King is doing great.
I see you've got the country's flag here as well.
God save the Queen. God save the Queen. We love the UK, been hospitable, and the greatest host I've ever been to in a country, and I shall return.
Just lastly, what do you make of the fact that you've got a former world champion here, someone who's had, 6 or 7 fights as a pro, and the one who's had 6 or 7 fights is the favourite?
Well, it goes to boxing in general, as you just alluded to, what's going on with the heavyweight landscape. A fact that a guy like Lomachenko can be a world champion at 10-0, 11-0, and then you now have a guy in the heavyweight division that wants to be a world champion after 11 fights. things have to change, and I have my own opinions, but boxing is at a resurgence. The fact that you have a gentleman that's 7-0 challenging a former world champion suggests to you that the heavyweight division may not be as strong as we would like it to be, but this will be a brilliant move by Joyce and his members, or suggest them that you can't move fast in this division, and especially the heavyweight division.
Carl, I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
And best of luck ahead of Saturday night with Bermain.
Say that again.
Best of luck
Thank you.
with Bermain.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.